What is that thing? It can't be a man. Its bloated body, bubbling, reshaping itself like some jelly. Its face, oh God, its face is deformed. Its gnarling teeth. What is it doing to that poor dog? I gotta give it to the little guy. He's putting up quite a fight, but the thing seems unfazed by the dozens of bites. Get a hold of yourself, Pete. You can't let the fear take hold. I know. A shot of whiskey will give me the courage to do something. Wait, there, on the ground. A broken axe handle. You ain't gonna eat that dog today if I got anything to say about it.
Welcome to the Twisted Tentacle Inn. I'm your innkeeper, Vase Odin, and today we will be talking about Ashcan Pete, the Drifter. Pete Washburn was a normal boy until the nightmares started. Disturbing, unspeakable things toying with humanity haunted his dreams every once in a while. After a few of these nightmares, Pete started seeing signs that the dreams were more like premonitions, coming true shortly after. At first, they came every few weeks, but as he got older, the frequency began to increase. Once he reached adulthood, he decided to try and subdue them with liquor, drinking himself to sleep. His strategy worked for a time, but eventually, the nightmares managed to overcome the numbing effects of the whiskey. He couldn't hold a job and started living in the homeless jungles of the city, surviving each day as fate would have it. As the nightmares got worse, he made the decision to do something about it. Knowing things that were going to happen before they did allowed Pete to be ready when the nightmarish events occurred. He fought against inhuman horrors and helped those in need when he could. One of the first victims he rescued was a mangy dog he named Duke. A creature that resembled a bloated corpse of a man was engaged in a physical struggle with the dog when Pete charged in with a broken axe handle, and together, Duke and Pete defeated the monstrosity. Since that day, Duke has been Pete's loyal companion. He seems to understand Pete and even appears to know what Pete wants before he even says anything. The pair traveled the country for years, helping those who were victims in Pete's nightmares, eventually making their way back to Arkham. Lately, Duke has started whimpering and whining in his sleep, and it may be possible that he too has started to have nightmares. Duke's breed is currently unknown, although it is implied he may be a bloodhound. It certainly makes sense, especially with his boost to investigation skills. In the Arkham Horror card game, Pete is one of the most well-rounded investigators, thanks to his signature card, Duke. At least, this is the case in easy and standard mode. In hard or expert mode, Pete becomes a very challenging investigator because of the difficulties boosting his stats. Ashcan Pete can take survivor cards, and being a Dunwich Cycle investigator, can splash 5 cards from any class. This makes him very versatile, but with so many great cards that can work for this deck, it can be a bit overwhelming to decide what to pick. You get to start with Duke in play, which basically gives you high damage and sanity thresholds, as well as great scores in fight and investigate. You also get a built-in action economy in both investigation and combat, with the free move and free damage point respectively. Duke's abilities make him exhausted, which means he can only be used to fight or investigate once per round, unless you discard a card, which will allow you to ready him, or you pull an Elder Sign from the Chaos bag. You can also use specific cards that will let you ready an asset. It is very important to note that only cards that give you a bonus to a skill can be combined with Duke's ability. If a card has an action in bold, it can't combine with Duke. For example, Flashlight and Machete both have their respective actions in bold, which means you can't use them in combination with Duke. You can use the Magnifying Glass though, as well as various skill cards and the talent cards that give you stat boosts when you pump them. Skill boost cards are great, as are cards that let you get stuff back from your discard pile. Since you may be discarding a few cards to ready Duke throughout any given scenario, it definitely helps that your main card pool has plenty of cards that allow you to get some of those cards back. The strength of Duke in the two most important actions in the game allow you to free up space in your deck and do some wacky and interesting things. No need to pack 4 or 5 weapons, since Duke starts in play and is as good or better than certain weapons. You now can experiment with those card slots. I'm not saying don't put any weapons in your deck, but it certainly wouldn't make your deck useless if you opt out of packing some of them. Again, this applies mostly in easy and standard play. Your weakness card, Racked by Nightmares, is a very light smack on the wrist. It's definitely one of the easiest weaknesses to overcome, although there are times when it can wreck your day. If you pull the card while engaged with a boss or a hard-hitting enemy, you'll have to take 2 attacks of opportunity just to be able to ready Duke. That can certainly be a nightmare scenario, but luckily it can be extremely rare for that to happen in such a way. Overall, I find Ashcan to be a very good investigator, very solid and well-rounded in almost all aspects of the game. And I find him super fun to play, and his character is perfect for this game. A very good-hearted person whose life has basically been wrecked by things beyond his understanding. His dog, Duke, is a nice touch and makes Pete a fan favorite. I really enjoyed making this video, and hopefully you found it useful as well. If you like this video, press on that like button and share it with others. Also, consider subscribing to The Inn for more videos. I'll talk with all of you real soon. I'm your daddy, Vase Odin.